How do you become a social media influencer, and how do you get viral videos? And if you're lucky enough for those things to happen, what comes next? Well, as of 3 weeks ago, I am now a TikTok social media influencer, and so I can tell you all I know. This is Refracted World. And we're back. Welcome to Refracted World Season 3. A little different to the other two seasons. The first season was all audio, the second season was all videos, and this season is just me. And for that, I have to thank TikTok, because amazingly, something brilliant happened 3 weeks ago. I went from having 17,000 followers on TikTok to currently 440,000. I know, 440,000. It's just insane in 3 weeks. And the journey has been very fast, and I am still pretty overwhelmed by it all. So I wanted to share what happened, how it happened, and what's been going on since. And thankfully, because of my success on TikTok, my YouTube channel has doubled the amount of subscribers. So I spent an entire year building up my YouTube channel. I started with doing a Spotify audio version of podcast, which was then transferred to YouTube. And I realized I wasn't getting many views on YouTube. So I invested a lot of money and almost all of my time producing a video podcast. So if any of you have seen those video podcasts, I would talk about big issues and try to make them as easy and understandable as possible, which is kind of my thing. It's what I do. And I was spending 5 days a week making that podcast, and some of them got 200 views. And then for anyone that followed this, you'll know why I stopped doing it in October last year. But then, with TikTok blowing up as it has, I've got a lot of people now asking for more content. So here it is. So how did I go from 17,000 to almost 500,000 followers? Well, the blip. Well, what I like to call the blip. The ban in America that lasted for about 12 or 14 hours on TikTok gave rise to content creators all over the world. So what we've kind of worked out, we don't know if this is true, but this is what we believe happened. Before, TikTok was feeding us mostly American content, and I believe that's because Singapore is an English-speaking country to begin with, and then there are shareholders in America, and therefore they were pushing more American content. And there are 270 million users of TikTok in the US, which is a huge amount of people. But there are 1.5 billion worldwide. So that makes about 16% the share, which is for American content, but that's still 84% for the rest of the world. And yet none of us were seeing much of anything apart from US content. And when the ban happened, we were then seeing everybody. And so for those few hours that America were in the dark, we were then, oh my goodness, there's a world out there. I was seeing Canadian content and South African and American and New Zealand and then Europe. And it came in thick and fast. Basically, all the English-speaking countries were first, and then other countries joined in. And then people in Europe who don't usually, whose English language is second, they were then making English language videos to get a bigger audience. And then America came back. But we wanted our For You page to continue being this diverse world. And so we came up with different hashtags. There was Commonwealth Talk for the Commonwealth countries. There was Euro Talk for Europe. There was Africa Talk, Asia Talk, blah, blah, blah. And then when America came back, I put out a video saying, oh, how wonderful it is seeing this diverse FYP on TikTok. And I saw loads of people commenting saying, hi, is it okay if we're here? We're from America, but we really like this. And I was like, of course, you're part of the world. And so that's why I made a video just saying, look, World Talk is the entire world. Everyone is welcome. I've seen there's quite a few people from America asking, of course you're welcome. Everyone's involved. Just put hashtag World Talk. And that video blew up. It went viral. I had 3.4 million views on that video. And because of that, I went from 17,000 followers in a day to about 80,000 followers. And then it just kept going. And it hasn't stopped yet. I don't know where it'll be when this video comes out. Maybe it has stopped at 440. I don't know. And at first, it's like really exciting. You just see the numbers going up so fast. I was getting something like 2 followers a second. And the comments, I last looked today, I've had almost 100,000 comments in the past, 9 days. And it's just insane, absolutely insane how many people are now following me. And all I've ever done is put out positive content, positive, informative, fun, and content about my life. That's what I've always done. I don't leave nasty messages or comments anywhere. I never have. And I always put out nice, positive content. And it might be informative, it might be biased from my point of view, but I don't put anyone down and I don't belittle anybody when I'm talking, because I think that's important. Because equality is my thing. So I'm very big on equality. I believe everyone needs to realize that without equality, we can't continue as a species. That's my thing, because everyone deserves the same rights as everybody else. But I know there are people that are opposed to this. For whatever reasons, they're opposed to it. And so rather than shouting at them saying, you must think this, you must do this, that's never going to work. Shouting at people and telling them that they're wrong is only going to make them back into a corner and then fight back. Whereas what I do is explain why it's important. So that's why I put out loads of, anyone that listens to my podcast or watches my videos will realize that I do try and explain all of this and why it's important, why I believe it's important for our species. Excuse me, I need tea. That's the other change to Refracted World. I was spending 5 days a week making Refracted World and no one was watching it. And so now I'm just doing a one-take video and seeing how this plays out, which will be a lot quicker and easier for me. And maybe it's more personable for you. So basically, it's like a long-form TikTok. I don't know how it's going to work, but we shall see. And so this all happened. And then I realized I am not equipped to deal with this. I mean, just insane amount of people commenting. And of course, I still have to work and eat and sleep. But a lot of my time was spent on TikTok trying to reply to comments, trying to follow people back. And I have a criteria when following people because I've been burned so many times by bots and AI and negative comments. So my DMs have been switched off for months. So no one can get through to me unless I'm their friend. And I don't friend people unless I know they're real and I like their content. So I will see a comment. Oh, sorry. I will see a comment and I'll click on the profile and then I'll look at if they've got videos. And if they have got videos, if it's something that I like, then I shall follow them. But of course, that takes a lot of time. And with almost 100,000 comments coming in, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And then I start feeling guilty, thinking, people are going to be really upset because I know what it's like commenting on somebody's video, like a nice comment or whatever, and they don't even like it. And I'm getting really upset. And it's only now I realize they never see it because there are so many comments on that one video. It's just impossible. They would never get to it. And I don't have a team of people. I don't have anybody else. It's just me. It's just me and my phone, which I'm recording this on. So there's the camera. And so I don't have people to do this for me. And there's only so many hours in the day I can do this. And so what I've realized is every video I put out, I will read and usually respond to the comments on that new video until it gets too many, and then I have to stop because then it just hurts my brain. So if you do want to get through to me, then leave a comment on a brand new video and I will usually get back to you. Unless it's a nasty comment, and then I'll just block you. Oh, and that's the other thing. Oh my goodness. Something I didn't expect. And I should have done because I've seen it so many times. The amount of people imitating me. So there are so many people now calling themselves Terry Geo or Terry J Geo or Terry Geo Telegram or message me on Telegram, and they are always in the comments. I mean, there was one today. I put out a video last night talking about, because I've talked about because I don't want people to fall for these scams. So I've been pointing out, look, if you see these comments, look at the profile first, don't add them as a friend. If it's not me, you'll know because they won't have videos, they won't have this many followers. And I've done 2 videos like that. And then I did another one last night saying, I can't believe how they're doing this, to get around it. And so then today, somebody had taken all the comments from that video saying, oh, yeah, scammers are terrible, blah, blah, blah. They'd taken every single comment, made a video from each of the comments and made it into a profile. So it would link to that person. And then it said at the bottom, DM me. And I'm like, so I blocked the account, and I've blocked so many of them, but they just keep coming. You block one and 2 more appear. And I didn't expect that. And even though I reported everyone, for some reason, they're not violations. TikTok always comes back saying no violation. How can it not be a violation? I mean, they're literally imitating me using my name and my profile picture. But anyway, so that's something that I'm having to deal with as well. And but then the amount of messages that keep coming in just hurt my brain sometimes, to be honest. And obviously, I feel guilty for not getting back to them. But then when I got to 100,000 followers, I'm thinking, oh, maybe TikTok sends you a message or something, or you get access to a different area where it tells you what to do. Because I have no idea if what I'm doing is right. I'm just putting out the same content I've always put out, but I don't know if it's right, or if you're meant to do things a different way when you get to this point. And then I thought, well, nothing at 100,000, and then it quickly got up to 250,000, still nothing. And I thought, well, maybe people with big followers will then contact me and say, oh, blah, 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 this is what you do. No one gets in contact. There's no information, and TikTok doesn't get involved either. And so I'm just on my own, and I really don't know if what I'm doing is correct. I'm just doing the best I can and going with it. But I keep pointing out in every video that everything I do is just positive, and the world's a mess. We know the world's a mess. And people have asked me to give them the news. And I put out a video saying I can't do that. I am far too biased. I have my own thoughts and my own opinions, but that doesn't help anybody, because the world we're living in, we don't want thoughts and opinions. We need centrist news. So I advised everyone just to stick to centrist news, stay away from people in the comments who have opinions, stay away from people with opinions, and just take the news from trusted sources that have teams of legal people behind them, making sure everything they say is the truth. Because if not, we're just going to be taking hearsay and opinions and making it into our own, which is just we know what it creates. And again, I can't deliver this news because I'm far too biased, and that isn't good for anybody. So so what I'm doing, I'm treating my profile and all my social media profiles as safe spaces. So I can still be informative, I can still be positive, but everyone knows that when they come to me, it will be something positive. It might be about my life. I'm writing a play at the moment that's going to be on stage later this year. So that's quite big in my life, and I'm really happy about that. And also everything that I do. So I film when I go on walks and things, and people love seeing the British countryside and just things like that, because there are many channels that can tell you the news, but there are also many others that scream, shout, and just have tons of rage bait. And we all need to just stop doom scrolling from time to time. And if there's a few places that you can go and you can just chill out, then hopefully I'm one of those people. So that's all I'm doing. And that's my point when it comes to how do you become successful in social media. For me, the ban in America really did help me find a massive audience, because before no one would have seen my content, which is why it took 3 years to get to 17,000 and 3 weeks to get to 440,000. Because the algorithm on TikTok is now changed. And so now the entire world is being seen. And I really hope it stays like that, because I'm seeing such amazing content from all over, like people walking through the snow in Sweden and Finland, or walking on the beach in New Zealand and Australia. And, this woman in South Africa that I keep talking about because she's fantastic. Every day she just does a video from her garden in South Africa, and it is just this amazing, beautiful garden. And all these things that I'd never seen before. And it's wonderful. And so hopefully, this is the social media that we always were promised, that we always thought would be social media, and yet it wasn't until now. And I just hope it continues, and I hope it spreads to other platforms, because it unites us as a species. Just seeing people living out their mundane lives, because to everybody else, they're not mundane. They're actually really fascinating. So my advice to anyone who creates content or wants to create content, just keep doing what you love. Just do that. I never had a niche. I could never stick to one niche. I have far too many activities, hobbies, and things that I love and do and want to talk about. And maybe a niche would get you faster to a bigger audience. But I didn't care about that. I just wanted to put out the content that I wanted to put out. And I'm just lucky that worked for me at this point. But just keep putting out what you want to put out. And if you love doing it, people will see that you love doing it and they'll love it as well. And yeah, the negativity will always be there on social media. Don't respond to them. Don't use it in a comment on a video because that just keeps the hate going. Block and report the account every time. That's all I do. Because then I don't even remember any of the messages that I block now. I might read a bit of them, realize it's spam or a nasty message, block, report, they're gone, and it's forgotten. Whereas if I kept it and then made a video about it saying, oh, how disgusting is this comment, then you're keeping that negativity in the world, and then you remember that comment for a long time. So just block and move on. And there is so much content that you can make. Whatever you're into, whatever hobbies you've got, whatever you love doing, what work you do, where you live, there's so much you can talk about. And now, for the first time, people want to see that as well. So don't worry about what you're making. And don't worry about followers either. If you worry about followers too much, then it just becomes a chore and you won't enjoy making it. By the way, this mug is from Boracay, which is in the Philippines. We were there in November. And absolutely beautiful place. I mean, this island in the middle of nowhere, as a Brit anyway, took ages to get there by plane and boat, but beautiful place. And the only coffee shop on the island was Starbucks. And I wanted a memorial. Memorial? Is that the right word? I wanted a mug with Boracay on it, so I bought it. It was only like £4. But yeah, I really love that. But I made videos while I was in Boracay and put them out all over social media. One of the best sunsets I've ever seen in my entire life. And I put it out on social media. A couple of 100 views. I mean, and it's just astonishing that no one wanted to interact with those videos. But they're still there. So if you want to see them, best sunset I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely beautiful. And the palm trees, and I mean, seriously beautiful. If you can check them out, you should. And yeah, so just keep making what you love making, and you will find an audience. And that's the best advice I can give you. But when you get to this height, there's no parade, there's no confetti, there's no one that calls you up or messages you saying congratulations on being an influencer. There's nothing like that. It's just exactly the same. So it's just me making videos on my phone and hoping people like them, which is what we always do. So I hope this was helpful to anybody. I do intend to carry on making Refracted World like this, and I would like to, because I never did this before, but I'd like to start interviewing people and talking about different subjects. Also, because my play, so much I can tell you about my play, but I'll wait until the next episode, because the play is now in progress. There's going to be so much I want to talk about, and then, interviewing different people about the play, and this, yeah, hopefully there's so much more to come. And yeah, I just hope you like the new format, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.